So good morning, everybody. It's a rough night. So I'm up, I'm moving around. I'm out here trying to get a little fresh air this morning. Listening to all the ducks. It's really pretty out. So let's see what I caught. Morning, everybody. Just wanted to catch y'all this morning. I'm on my way home, and I just had a few little things that I wanted to share with you guys, if you're willing to listen. So, I haven't talked too much about it, but I had the pleasure of visiting the most beautiful plantation that one could ever dream of staying at. It has extremely dark past. It's shrouded with death. It's got a really, really bad history, but altogether, it's a really peaceful place to stay. Some of you guys might have seen my Facebook Live when I was staying there. Since I got back, the place is the Myrtles Plantation. If you guys didn't see my Facebook post. The place is the Myrtles Plantation, and it's in St. Francis, Louisiana. And I highly recommend visiting there. I got some very compelling evidence. I've got numerous photos, which I will add after this. I'll add a little slideshow and let you guys see. I got numerous photos. I got some really awesome EVPs, and some things happened to me that are just, there's no way to explain them. I was raised Catholic in the belief that you either went to heaven or you went to hell. There was no in between. But I'm here to tell you folks, my beliefs have totally changed since I have visited this plantation. I took the tour. I listened to the story on everything that happened there, all the fatalities and the deaths, and just everything voodoo that occurred there, Indian burial ground, hangings. There were slaves that were owned. It's a very, very dark past. But in all of that, like I said, it was really serene and peaceful. So I stayed in what they call the caretaker's quarters. Me and a couple friends of mine had went, and we had got there, and everything was fine. We wanted to check out the place and take the tour, which I highly recommend you do. Very full of knowledge, very, very good, and you get to see the inside of the mansion. Well, we stayed in the caretaker's quarters, and this place is supposed to be one of the hauntedest places in the world. It's like number 1 or number 2, something like that on the haunted scale. So it's been in books. It's been a real big tourist attraction for years. So making a long story short, we unpacked packed our luggage, and I did a blessing prayer before I got out of the vehicle, and basically told whatever was there, you know, you're not coming home with me. I'm surrounded by white light, and I left it at that. So that night, I did a little ghost hunting, walked around, did some EVPs, all that, took some pictures in the middle of the night. Didn't see anything. Had a couple occurrences where something brushed up against me. I woke up with scratches on my leg that were unexplainable. I heard a little girl crying outside of my window. Never seen anything though. So, you know, all that stuff happened. I just brushed it off. I got home, enjoyed my trip, had fun doing the ghost hunt, and just basically told stories about what had happened there. So let's fast forward 2 months after I'd been home. Weird stuff started to happen at my house. Light bulbs. Let me tell you guys about the light bulbs. I bought, 12 packs of light bulbs in 1 month's time, and the light bulbs, as soon as you put them in and flip on the switch, it was like a surge of power, and they would explode. I don't have any electrical problems. We've never had any of that happen before, so that started happening. Then after that, my children first started hearing it. When you go to open up the door, like as soon as you stick your key in the door, you hear whispering and kind of a muffled voice, like someone that was talking on the inside, like that. You open the door thinking the TV must be on or someone's home, and no one's there. Another instance was I heard like cowboy boots walk across my hardwood floor, and when it got to the carpet, it stopped. And we had like 6 people sitting in our living room that witnessed this. Couldn't figure out for the hell of us where it came from. So after all that, other little things started to happen. Stuff come up missing. Then we would like fight and bicker. The whole family would bicker and fight at one another, and the tension was so thick in my house you could cut it with a knife. I was getting sick, I was developing headaches, I was physically exhausted, and when I tell you I had no strength for anything, I had no strength for anything. So, you know, all this happens. We end up getting, fast forward another month, I talked to some people that have a head shop in town. I talked to them about what was going on. They suggested that maybe something had attached itself and come home with me, so that I needed to sage, just smudge my house and say, you know, a prayer and cleanse everything, and everything should be good. So that's what I did. Oh, no. Wrong move for me. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Everything went to hell. It went haywire. It absolutely got 1,000 times worse. The nightmares started. Not just me, everyone that lived in my house. The nightmares, the sleep paralysis, being held down in the bed, dreams of things happening in the really, really bad form, and then waking up and just basically feeling like you're being suffocated, like something was sitting on top of you. Then we got a plague of frogs. Millions and millions of tree frogs everywhere. Could not figure out where in the world these things were coming from. I mean, we live in the country. We see animals. Deer, rabbits, you name it. Coyotes. We see frogs too. But the amount of frogs, guys, just unbelievable. Now, let me rewind you back to what I was saying about where this place is at. It is in Louisiana, and it is near a swamp. Back in those times, they practiced voodoo rituals, and a lot of it took place on that plantation. So I spoke to a shaman and asked him, what could it be? I mean, what could be causing these plagues? And he said, it sounds to me like you're cursed. Like, you know, that's something that happens when people put a hex on someone, basically. Little things like that happen. So I didn't really take it to heart. He told me to get some crystals and some protection stones and to sage again, and you know, you guys, I'm sure you've heard, do the whole steps again. So I did, and cleansing everything, cleanse the property, and nope, didn't get any better. It got worse. So let me tell you what happened next after I tried for a second time to clean my house. Any kind of religious relic that I had in my home mysteriously broke. I've had a steel crucifix break off at the bottom. There's no way that you can bend it, and it broke. It broke, snapped in half. I had a beautiful picture of Jesus knocking on the door to come in, and it was on a wooden plaque, crack all the way down and fall off my wall. All of my angel candles and my St. Michael's candles, and he's, you know, St. Michael the Archangel, you know, protect us in battle, yada yada, you guys know it, completely shattered, almost caught my house afire. So this is when I started really getting concerned. So, you know, I asked the shaman, I said, is it bad? He said, oh yeah. He said, it's demonic. Whatever it is, it's demonic. And that I really need to watch myself. It's going to feed off of energy that, you know, I have in my family, and it's going to cause hell. So the next thing that happens after this is moths. I looked them up. They're called a witch moth. Never seen these things before. They're like that big. They were surrounding and just and fluttering all over the lights outside of my house. Like by the hundreds. Never seen these moths before. And I've lived in the country all my life. So a couple of them got in my house. And I couldn't find them. They fluttered around the light for a little bit. A couple days went by. I couldn't find these moths. My daughter, Delissa, ended up finding one that was, don't even know how it got there. It was in between a piece of bubble wrap and a blanket of an antique mirror that belonged to my daughter. She had brought some things to my house that she had no longer had room for, decided to store them there. And so make a long story short, there was no way that this moth could have gotten there. She found it and it was dead. I'm telling you guys, 4 days, listen to me, 4 days after my daughter touched this moth, she was in a car accident, a fatal car accident. They brought her back. Other children weren't so lucky. But is it a coincidence? Or is it something that is really, really after me? So I start Googling about these moths, and in the Santeria religion, that is a bad omen. If that comes into your home, someone is supposed to die. And my daughter, they lost her. They called my husband at work and told him to come ID her. Thank God for the paramedic that wanted to try one more time and got a pulse back on her. You guys, I don't know what I've done, what I've brought back, but I can't get rid of it. I mean, all this is not in my head. Now the rest of my family is experiencing financial difficulty, sicknesses. It's just, the list goes on and on. I am not crazy. And I'm sure a lot of you think I am. I didn't believe in all this mumbo jumbo. I didn't believe in it a minute. I was in it for the thrill, you know? And now I have done something that I believe is irreversible, and I hope not. If any of you guys can give me any advice on what to do, leave me comments. I mean, hit me up honestly. I mean, nothing is working. My next step is, you know, call a priest. But I've already salted. I've already holy watered my house. I've saged. I've done it. So what? The you know, relics that I have that are religious are being broken. I mean, of course, I think it is demonic. But what do I do to get rid of it, you guys? What do I do? And it's crazy things too. I want to show you all. I'm going to flip this camera around. I'm going to flip it around. However I can do it. Let me see how to flip it around. Well, you can't flip it around. But I want you guys to look up at that pole right there. Do you see do you see the crows? They follow me everywhere. Black crows. Look at them. So, somebody, please, that knows something, please, 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 give me some advice. What do I need to do? I'm really begging for it. You guys have a good day. Bye, y'all.